Hi, I'm Dave Simpson. I have friends who are therapists and support counselors, and we decided to sit down and have that conversation. What you're about to hear are excerpts of conversations that we've been having about the community that we live in at large in Nova Scotia. Things that really matter to real people and concerns that people may have. Conversations that people would like to have but don't have, but like to hear had. If it sounds confusing, hopefully this would simplify it. So, without further ado, here's that conversation.
In our area, it seems as though many people don't want to be alone because of loneliness, right? And I would love for us to kind of discuss the difference between being alone and being lonely.
Okay, this one I love, the distinction for me, because it was a long journey for my own life to discover what that was. Because, as you guys were saying earlier, the social narratives, the strong discourse in my growing up, and for my brother, and for my father, and even my son, heard that to be in relationship, you lose loneliness. You will never feel this feeling. You will never feel kind of like you don't belong to a tribe. And so I would say that being alone is an experience where you could feel extremely connected. You could be alone in your house, in nature, in your own mind, your own heart, and you would feel and remember a connection to your world, to your people that matter, even if they've died, to people that have moved away from you. You remember them, you hold them inside this very kind of connected place inside yourself. And a lot of times in my opinion, in childhood, we're taught that to be alone almost sometimes is not a good place. It's like, you've got to be busy, you've got to be with others, you've got to have all these things. Part of the rewards in society is to be in relationship. You're not a good person. You must be a failure if you're not with someone. So then with aloneness, aloneness has nothing connected to loneliness unless you're feeling lonely inside. Where loneliness on itself as an experience inside ourselves is a feeling that we really don't have a sense of ourself connected to anything. And so you could even be with another in a marriage in the same bed, lying there and feel lonely because you don't feel this deeper connection. You don't feel like a sense of mattering. Like I matter with these people, even if they're strangers on the street. I matter and you matter. There's a feeling that we matter no matter what we're in, like a marriage or a relationship or parent, non-parent. We have this feeling that we matter. So loneliness kind of like it goes away a bit. It's not always gone, but it's away a bit. It doesn't drive our life when we feel this connection. And I think that starts very early in life to have that inner feeling that you even matter to yourself when you're sitting beside the river, fishing, right? And so you don't feel a loneliness, you feel part of. And people don't have to prove it to you when you're feeling alone. But they don't have to prove that they care. You just feel it. You just know. And that's why we can be in relationship and feel very lonely because we can be around others. We can be in certain groups with people, or we're very by ourselves and we feel lonely because we don't hold that we matter. I matter. I've loved people in my life. That matters. So it kind of even connects to what I value, right? If I value that I matter in some way, not always perfectly, but I matter, then I feel a lot less lonely. Is that helpful when I say?
Of course it is. No, it's poetic. When I went from being alone to being lonely, it's because I desired to be around or to be connected with someone. But there's been times where I would like to be alone, and there's a difference. And I find that, especially the situations that I've been aware of, that people are conflating the two.
Yes.
So they don't want to be by themselves, if you want to word it differently. They always want to be with someone, and therefore, a lot of times they get into relationships. They enter into relationships that they themselves are not ready for because they don't want to be lonely. So therefore, they don't want to be alone. And they didn't know the two. So by you, really defining it that way, hopefully it gives a listener a chance to understand that just because you're alone doesn't mean that you failed, and it doesn't mean that you're automatically lonely.